everybody doing? Please get your libation, get whatever you need to get you through this moment in politics, this YouTube, whatever you need. Get yourself some chamomile, but don't fall asleep during the show. Whatever you need, family. Listen, for those of you who don't know, maybe you are new here, but we have things that we have to take care, and we welcome you. We have things that we have to take care of. So please, 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 please hit that like button. I would appreciate it. If you hit that like button, I would absolutely appreciate it. That would mean the world to me. If you want to donate, you can go to donatebrown.com, patreon.com/ycarnell. All that kind of good stuff that you can do. You can do that. You can also, what else can you do? You can also hit that bell. Hit that subscribe button. You can do that as well. Or $ Breaking Brown. Whatever you want to do. But please do not forget. Please do not forget. The half has never been told. December the 10th. If you want to be a part of the book club, it's a wonderful conversation. But this book is kind of thick. So please, please, please get the book kind of early. Don't try to wait. I know some of y'all want to try to be speed demons and speed readers and say, I'm going to get through it, Yvette. Don't worry about me. And then all the way when you get to like the week before, you crying on Twitter. And I didn't know. And it's a lot. I'm going through things right now. I don't know. See, I want you to just get started early. Preparation is the key. So please join us for the book club. Please join us for that, family. Please do not forget December the 10th. December the 10th. That's when we will be having our book club. So please join us for that. Now, let me just say, fam, I like to frame things. And the way we can frame this is that everything is falling apart already. Well, things have already kind of fallen apart because, Trump is still in the White House. He's not doing the transition. We're not even going to talk about the COVID numbers. We're not going to get into that. That's just a preview. Wear your mask. But even in terms of what everybody said we were fighting for. So what do you mean? What do you mean, Yvette, what we were fighting for? Well, they said every time we said, y'all remember what we said? Every time we said, what's the agenda? They said he do have an agenda. Biden do got an agenda. You don't know what you're talking about. He put out his black plan, and he did. Just like he put out a leftist plan, and he did. And I said, that's not a real agenda, right? Because reparations has to be the heartbeat. And you all are forgetting that Biden is the same man he's always been. It's like giving you dog food and telling you it's a souffle, and you know it's dog food. This is Alpo, right? So that's what we were saying to people, and people were telling us that we were crazy. That we didn't know what we was talking about. Now you see what's happening. I want y'all to pay attention. There's a fight going on. Where is the fight going on? Family, there's a fight. The leftists and the liberals are going at each other. So there was a call a while ago, like a week or two ago, where there was a moderate Democrat saying something to the effect of, we can't use no socialist stuff no more. Don't tell me nothing about defund the police. I don't want to hear nothing about that. It almost cost me my job, and it cost a bunch of good Democrats their jobs too, and I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Have I made myself clear? Then AOC came out and said, well, I got something to say about that. I'd like a word. And she said that these are things that you have to tackle either way. You got to tackle these things, whether it be climate or even what you mentioned, racial justice. Shout out to that. Police, she said you got to handle it. And these people didn't even prove what they said. And then she took a swipe at at a specific member. She talked about Connor Lamb, who's kind of a conservative member. And she said he didn't even spend much on Facebook where people are being radicalized. And that's his problem. And that's his fault. It ain't have nothing to do with nothing else. It was him. Then he came out and said, you don't know nothing about my district, and you are costing us our jobs because you won't move away from stuff, and you won't be so radical. You don't know nothing about what you talking about. My district ain't your district. And put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's what happened. And I said, oh my goodness, they fighting already. Now, before we go to the next part, I want to tell you why I think they both wrong. And then we're going to talk about our placeholder presidents including Obama, including his vice president, now president or president-elect Biden. We're going to talk about them. We're going to connect them to what's going on. Because it's the same thing. You have to pay attention so you know which way this thing is going. Right? Nobody is giving a real solution. So let me tell you why. Let's just slow it down for 1 second and talk about what's actually going on. What's really going on. So let's slow it down 1 second and tell everybody what's really going on. Okay. So what's the problem? Okay, here's the problem. The problem with the left and the problem with liberals, whether they be center left or center right or in Republican leaning districts, they have two distinctly different problems, but they're problems. Leftists are not serious. And Conor Lamb was right to point that out. You are not serious. Y'all did go around calling about defund the police. Well, defund the police sound like defund the police. It don't sound like what you said when we talked to y'all about it. We said, hey, even in terms of black communities, y'all talking about defund the police. Are we not going to have help when we call 911? No, that's not what defund the police mean. It don't mean that. It just means that, we're going to put a lot of money elsewhere and we're going to do this. And everywhere you went, everybody had a different definition of defund the police. Now, excuse me, I'm from the South. I don't say police, I say police. So everybody had a different definition of what that meant. Well, see, let me just say this. That's a problem in and of itself. You're not serious. So instead of really thinking about this and say, hey, and this is what should have happened and what we should have gotten from AOC and the left, and thinking about this and saying, hey, what did this come from? Where does this stem from? Race? Okay. These groups, this ADOS, these black, always at the bottom. Okay. So how do we deal with that? Well, reparations, but you also need some serious solutions. You have reparations as the heartbeat, but you need some other solutions in terms of policing, in terms of the fraternal order of police and how you deal with that, how you deal with oversight, how you deal with, in terms of them having that strong of a union. You needed a seriously robust kind of slogan as opposed to just defund the police, which gave Trump an ad, which I saw all the time, about how we was going to call 911 and wasn't going to be nobody there. Right? Now, I don't fall for the okie doke, but people do. You gave that away. The left, y'all just shout stuff and holler and scream and think that's politics. Bashing your chest and hollering and screaming and taking off your shirt in the crosswalk, there's nothing radical about what you just did. Now, let's go to the other fellow. See, this is the problem with Democrats across the board. That's the problem with the left. The centrists and all the regular ones, they have another problem. Well, what is their problem? They don't believe in nothing. They believe in whatever their constituents believe. That's how we kept slavery around so long. You just believe in whatever. You just believe in whatever your constituents say do. So you don't have you don't have any values that you hold dear. You don't have nothing about yourself that you say you want to stand up for, and you're lazy. So you don't ever try to, even if you did, you don't try to influence people. You just kind of talk and kind of, you just scattershot is the best way to use it. Right? You scattershot. So you just go, well, my people don't believe in that, and my people don't want to hear that. So I got, no, what about your people are wrong? Let's talk about your people being wrong on both the left and the liberals, right? Let's talk about all Democrats being absolutely wrong on things that matter to the base of the Democratic Party, which is you, the black voter, especially and centrally the ADOS voter. Let's talk about how y'all always wrong. Even when we talk about canceling this student debt, you're just wrong. Both of y'all are just wrong. You know why? Because that just stabilizes white family and allows them to keep our inheritance. You don't have more than 20% of ADOS, not black people, ADOS specifically that graduate from a 4-year institution. So you're helping. You know what you do? If you do that, you give those of us who went to college and some people who want to be boule and who are already trying to pretend to be boule, they get rocket boosters. We get rocket boosters. It would help me, but I'm not trying to do that because this is about collective uplift, right? So you give a certain segment of ADOS rocket boosters to go and try to be boule. while the other group, the rest of ADOS, the overwhelming majority of ADOS gets nothing. Now, you have far more white people who went to college, and you give them the money to stabilize themselves and keep their inheritance as opposed to having to pay it for student loans. That don't help. That don't help my group. Forget about me individually. Yeah, help me individually. It doesn't help the group. See, that's where the left, and y'all are already failing. We ain't even got far yet, and y'all already messing up. We right here. What day is it? The 16th? It's November the 16th. We just had an election, and y'all already falling apart. That's going to be a problem. Then AOC said, I don't even know why I want to be in politics no more. I don't even know why I want this no more. Let me tell you something. You're going to have to be in this fight. I don't know what to tell nobody. I don't know what to, y'all complaining that y'all lost seats in the House and you thought, and we don't know what's going to happen in the Senate. And Lord, help us all. You don't know what's going to happen. And all you're doing is calculating and triangulating. It's going to be a big problem. It's like 30%. We live in a world where like 30% of whites and like 12 to 13, 14% of black people, ADOS people have a college degree. That's a windfall for them. It's not a windfall for us. That's a class. See, we haven't been able to rise in the class ladder. A bottom caste doesn't get to rise up, so we have problems. That's not going to work for us. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to work. Just is what it is. So, I can understand if people say defund the police and but yeah, y'all all wrong. And you're wrong in a way that harms the base of the party. Ooh, that's awful. But let me tell you, what people don't realize is where Biden is headed. He's going to go try to get that white vote. That's what they do. Let me put this up because I saw how many people watched Obama's 60-minute interview? How many of y'all saw that? Anybody see that? Oh, that was an interesting thing. When we talking about placeholder presidents. Because this is what I will give Obama. Obama did admit that what we're seeing in terms of Trump and all these people who are just being wild and stuff. He did admit that, listen, that started during my time or before my time. But I saw a lot. It didn't just start with Trump. And that's something we've been saying here. This did not just start with Trump. What you're seeing now did not begin with President Donald Trump. It didn't begin. It's been there. But as Obama discusses his book, what we don't begin to kind of understand, and I have a problem with the name of the book because it's called The Promised Land. We don't really talk about what Obama did and didn't do to keep this going. Right? So let me just say this. When I say I have a problem with the name of the book, this is why. Because this is an MLK quote as well. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So for the president that dodged the promised land, I don't know if you all know this, the king, when he made that speech, he was so sick. Like if you go watch the speech, you see the end, they had to help him to his seat, and not sick in terms of physically ill, but sick in terms of having a vision, in terms of what he knew he had just said and what he was going to have to sacrifice for his people. So a man who kind of adopted King's people and tried to make him their own, but didn't advocate for King's people in that way, doesn't have any right to use that promised land language. I don't care if it was used before. It's King's now. That don't matter. None of that matter no more. It's King's now, and you have no right to use it. So when I talk about you, Mr. Obama, when you talk about it began, you say it began before me. It began a while ago. It didn't just begin with me. My problem becomes, and there are a lot of problems in this, but one of the problems that we have is that a lot of stuff was going on. See, I don't know. Does everybody remember the protest, the Tea Party coming? Does everybody remember the Tea Party protesting? and accusing Obama. Obama is a center right politician and accusing him of all kind of stuff that was awful. Do we remember that? Do we remember how Obama responded to what happened? Are we? Let's just take a step back, right? Let's just take one step back. You got to remember how Obama responded in order to understand how he's saying right now makes no sense. So somebody tells you, you're right, it's not new. Somebody said you lie. This congressperson. You accept the apology, Obama. Now let me just say this too. What you don't understand, or maybe you didn't care, Obama, was that this was the beginning of what led to Trump. This was the beginning of it right here. It started like that kind of disrespect, not only for you as a black man, but that disrespect of like, I don't have to do nothing. I can do what I want to do. And you immediately accept that apology. Now, let me tell you something. A lot of y'all will say, oh, Yvette, if he hadn't accepted the apology, he would never have been reelected. He had to do what he had to do. Well, listen, if you have to, understand this. If you have to bend your back that much to do whatever you're doing, you don't need to do it. This country doesn't deserve, I'm clear on this right now, as this country stands, you don't deserve an ADOS president. And you don't even deserve a black president if you have to succumb to that, if you have to placate and curry favor with white supremacy, people who do things to you that they would never do to another president, then you don't need to be there. And it needs to be one term. And it needs to be one term because you fought for a group of people who nobody wants to fight for. You not doing that is not a success. You were not successful. And it's not just you who was not successful. It's not just one thing. Obama said this about somebody jumping up and saying and calling him a liar to his face. He said, I'm a big believer that we all make mistakes. Obama told reporters at a White House after a cabinet meeting. He apologized quickly and without equivocation. I'm appreciative of that. Listen, that's like somebody socking you in your mouth. And then coming back and saying, I apologize. I'm sorry. Like I was having a bad day and I knocked you dizzy. I knocked two good teeth you got out of your mouth. And I am sorry. Without equivocation, I am sorry. No. And part of that has to do with like you being raised white in the sense of who you were around in your family. So you don't understand that this man is a racist. And he's not going to stop being a racist because you smile real hard for him and to him. See, you, Obama, just like Biden is about to be, y'all are kind of placeholder presidents. Nobody wants to do anything that might risk not getting that second term or not getting people. What did Biden say? Because he might not run a second term. What did he say? We used to get together with the segregationists. We used to at least be able to talk to one another. Have chitter chatter. We had chitter chatter. Is that what this is all about? Chitter chatter. I thought we were making laws to make sure to make sure that they don't beat us half silly and kill us in the streets. That's who you got. So that's when I look at Ocasio or AOC, when I look at this moderate, and when I look at what's about to happen, and we're finna get into the rest of this stuff. What I understand, because he's saying, listen, I have to, remember we started off here. Let's go back here for a second. Lamb is saying, I have to cater to my voters. I think Biden is about to say that too. Because Biden is saying, listen, we had way more Trump voters than we anticipated. I got to win some of them back over. We lost seats in the House. We don't know what's going on with the Senate. I got to win some of them back over. And nobody is acknowledging that the problem isn't winning over white voters. The problem is white voters. Let me say that again. The problem isn't winning over white voters. The problem is white voters. In the sense of, y'all with the crime bill did a bunch of racist stuff to win over white people. The problem isn't what it takes to win them over. We know what it takes to win them over. But you're winning over and you're carrying favor to a racist group. I'm not talking about the whole voter block, because we know some of the people voted for Obama. We're not talking that. But I'm talking about the ones who go here a lot of times and you try to win them back. The problem is that you are not convincing and influencing these people about what they believe. You just throw your finger up in the air. Huh? What they believe today? Okay, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm going to do it. Because that's what they believe. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm going to do it. You can't do that no more. That's the legacy of the Confederacy. See, part of the problem that we have, Obama said something about we just have to change the tone. Obama, you came in with a good tone and you still lost. You still gave up a Supreme Court justice because of how Mitch McConnell treated you. This is not about that. This is not about a tone. This is about the Civil War was left unfinished. And this is about the fact that somebody has to lose. You cannot be in the business of placating racists and expect to still get the black vote. That is over with. We're going to make sure that we're going to build these next few, and that's over with. You cannot do that. You cannot say, I just got to do what I got to do. The Connor Lamb was talking about, what was his name? What's his name? Something Lamb. Yeah, Connor Lamb was talking about fracking. I understand, but you got to find something else. You can't. Politicians are going to have to start being influential and learning how to influence people as opposed to just take orders from people. Yes, you have to listen to your constituents, but sometimes your constituents are dead wrong. And you got to deal with that. And nobody wants to deal with that. And that's the problem. You don't want to confront it. Obama said, well, this is he said he called this era, and the era of politics that he was in, the anything goes era of politics. You're right. But how you react to that kind of politics, how you react to anything goes politics is key. You reacted, Obama, by reaching out to these people, by ingratiating yourself to these people. It didn't work, and it ain't never gonna work. You just go further and further to the right. That's it. That's all you do. And at the end of the day, when you leave office, the people who put you in there, the people who turn red states blue, won't have no more wealth than they had, or he'll have less wealth than when you went in there. You knew what was right, but you didn't want to make Republicans mad. You didn't want to make Tea Partiers mad. Y'all remember the Tea Party? Tea Party was running stuff. You didn't want to make them mad. You didn't want to make them upset. They don't care about making you upset. Don't nobody care about making you upset. They took your whole Merrick Garland and you went and got Merrick. I'm going to get Merrick. He not going to make nobody mad. Everybody going to love him. He's a middle of the road guy. He's a middle of the road kind of white guy. They told you we ain't even taking meetings with you, and shut up. We ain't doing nothing now. And this is why I tell people, even on Twitter, this whole thing of being non-aggressive and placating people is for the birds. I'm not saying that you can't find common ground. You should, and we should coalition, because we should coalition where we have a shared interest and a shared outcome. Okay, I want reparations and a transformative black agenda. If you're going to get on board with that, let's talk about it. And then we can talk about how we can scratch each other's backs. Let's talk about it. If you're not doing that, why I got to be nice to you and kiss your butt? Who said I'm supposed to do that? Or am I supposed to advocate? Or am I supposed to talk about what I and everybody else in my group has to sacrifice? King Sacrifice took a bullet. What you gonna take? Obama ain't take nothing. He at Martha's Vineyard. Beware of people who don't ever sacrifice. Or who don't know how to sacrifice. Because we're at a real place now. Y'all remember? Let me show you where we are. Because it's not just Obama who failed black politics. No. He can't take the blame alone. Let's just do a little backtracking. And remember what we have to remember. Now, we have to remember something very interesting. The only way, let me see if I can find this again. Hold on, let me bring this up a little bit bigger. Let's remember that everybody dropped out in this. Clyburn made sure that Biden got South Carolina. You drop out, I'm going to make sure I get the Negroes and everybody I need to vote for you to vote for you. Now, he's talking that stuff either. No more sloganeering. We're not talking about just defund the police. Nobody can say I'm not progressive. Yes, they are. Everybody can say you're not progressive, Clyburn. You shoe shine man. That's what you are. That's a problem in terms of black politics. So just as we talked about Obama being a placeholder, not wanting to fight, you have the same thing with Clyburn, who just wants to keep his place and obviously doesn't want to do anything transformative that will help down the line. Y'all remember when Nancy Pelosi had him dancing? He said there was not enough people, people of color. He didn't even say Negro or ADOS or black people of color. And she threw him outside and said, Negro, go change what you said and shine my high heel shoes while you at it. And he did it. That's who he is. But you can't have placeholder presidents like Obama or Biden and expect anything from them. Not for us. I'm talking specificity here. You can't have Clyburn and expect anything for us from him. Right? You just can't. He's not going to give it. He's never going to deliver. Remember what he said? Remember what he told George Stephanopoulos? This is a problem of black politics across the board. Whether you talk about Clyburn or whether you talk about Obama. Yes, like we just said, the liberals and the leftists have their own issues in terms of how they deal with everybody and especially us. But this is a problem of black politics. This accommodationist stuff. I don't know where this comes from. I don't know who this comes from. This is awful. How do you want Joe Biden to pay you back? Now understand, Joe Biden is not president if Clyburn doesn't make sure that he wins South Carolina and goes from there because Joe Biden had no momentum. Now here, I know I missed this before, but let me set this up. Stephanopoulos is cueing Clyburn to say, listen, I think he's giving him a hint. You all need something. Clyburn's district is the poorest. He said, y'all need something. What you want? Here is Clyburn. Pay me back. I don't want anything out of all of this. I don't want anything out of all of this. All I want is a country that my children and grandchildren can be able to develop in and able to pursue their dreams. In order to pursue your dreams, you need a lot out of this, Clyburn, but you're not concerned about that. You have an extremely poor district. You should have an ask ready. You should have your ass ready to go. Okay, let me get down the list. I got 10 things off top that I done memorized and another 15 to go. But let me give you the first 3. Let me give you my elevator speech. That's what you should have said. You didn't. You said, oh, shucks, boss. I just like beardy. I sure do appreciate the way y'all treat me all the time. I get good collard greens and hash. It's unserious. And it's not just him. So it's not just him. We have a crisis in black politics, and that's why ADOS exists. Don't forget that. We exist because there is a crisis. Now, here's another one. Do you all remember this? Before Kamala, we had this whole thing. Pressure grows on Joe Biden to pick a black woman as his running mate. You had a whole bunch of people coming together. Yes, what we need is a black woman. I'm a black woman. I'm not opposed to that. An ADOS woman. I'm not opposed to that at all. What kind of agenda do you want this woman to push? What? Because understand that being vice president is usually mostly symbolic. They go around and carry out, go to places that the president can't go and make speeches. Unless something dreadful happens, it's a largely symbolic thing. Now, I know Biden is old, and I know y'all want to set up Kamala to be president, but she didn't have no coattails for Biden in terms of increasing the black turnout in general or the black female turnout. Imagine more black females going for Trump than the previous year with a black woman on the ticket. Ain't nobody looking for you, Kamala. You didn't do your job this time around. But what did y'all want her on the ticket for? Don't worry, I'll wait. Because I ain't seen it nowhere. What did y'all want on the ticket for? You said you wanted a black woman. You just wanted a black woman to look at a black woman. You want to look at Kamala and the pictures of everywhere. What did you want her there for? You never figured that out. You never figured out why she should be there. You just said she should be there. Y'all wrote all kinds of letters and sent them to people. And you had people. You had Leonard coming out and saying, I'm voting for Harris, not Biden. Not understanding that the power is in Biden, not Harris. When you vote for the president, you're not voting for the BP. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But I know what you're probably thinking. She's going to be president. We ain't there. We here. We not there. And it's going to be a heavy hill to climb. I'm not saying nothing's impossible. But you're going to have to be a superhero to climb this one. That's just what it is. But they had y'all believing, I'm tired of white male leadership. That's what Biden is doing. Biden is white male leadership. Dear, what are you talking about? He's filling his inner circle from his chief of staff to the people around him. They're going to be white men. I heard about one black man who is problematic in a number of ways that we're going to talk about. What are you talking about? You just say anything. It's just the dumbest thing. So you got, I'm tired of white male leadership. So we got to talk about our own people now, right? Don't just talk about white supremacy. Don't just talk about black immigrants or whatever y'all want to say. Let's talk about, because we talk about problematic behavior. It's not identity based. What is problematic behavior? Well, report. Oh, you gotta love it. Cedric Richmond to leave congressional seat for role in Biden administration. Oh, is they happy? Is some people happy? Oh, well, we got us another one. We got Kamala and we got Cedric in there. We got somebody who really care about us. And I'm not going to go through this because we already did the show. Why is this top Democrat absent from the fight against toxic pollution in Cancer Alley? If y'all were not here for that show, please just go and look it up. It's one of the shows we did not too long ago that talks about how he took a bunch of money from the people who the polluters there, so he don't really care. Why would you care whether this man is that obviously don't really care about his own district or black people? Why would y'all care about him going to the White House? See, one of the things we got to do, we got to be done with tokenism. Agenda driven. I don't care about nobody's tokenism. We have to be an agenda driven group. What is your agenda? I don't care if that man, I don't care. I don't care what HBCU he went to. I don't care. I don't care about little Cedric. I care what he gonna do. What is his plan? I don't just want some seat at the table. We have a fetish for tokenism. That's because we never had nothing. So now we just have a fetish. Oh, we just got to get one of ours in there. We did that and it ain't work. Y'all did that for Kamala. Now y'all spinning and stupid. Don't know what's going on. And we're going to get to what y'all did for Kamala and how y'all spinning around now. Y'all just spinning and spinning and spinning. Oh, we need a black woman in there. All right, she in there. Now y'all worried. Y'all walking around biting your finger. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. She gonna be like this. Harris's allies wonder anxiously, will she have real clout? You know the answer to that. She didn't pull what she was supposed to pull. And even what she do have, it'll be because Biden gave it to her. But VPs don't usually have that much clout. Yes, it will be interesting to see what initiative she gets. Let's just see what the scared Negroes are saying now that they've done this part. I really want her to be a transformative leader. I don't want her to be transactional. The hell? I said Latasha Brown, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. What I am hoping for is that she becomes a lightning rod. Does this person know what? I've met Latasha, but does she know what lightning rod means? Lightning rod means that, like, you're kind of the person people go after and attack. Why would you want somebody who you value to become a lightning rod? Lightning rod attracts the lightning. I don't understand it. Here's the second part. She said, but let's go back to what she said. I really want her to be a transformative leader. I don't want her to be transactional. You can be both. You should be transactional. What are y'all? I don't even know if y'all know what y'all are talking about. Y'all just say words that sound good. What does that mean? She should want to get something for the group that she helped turn out. Now, she didn't do a good job turning them out. And that's because of ADOS. Because everybody said, hey, watch it. She's not us, so you can't use that. She got to have an agenda. And she said, I'm not going to do anything for black people. No. And so that's why she had a problem. But you want to be transactional. What are you talking about? So let's go to the next quote. Brown conceded that will be a challenge amid emerging signs that President-elect Joe Biden's longtime advisors will hold an array of influential positions in his administration. The entire political landscape has been dominated by white male-centered power, Brown said. I certainly think there's going to be a strain within the administration. I think there's going to be a strain within government. You think? You think? You think so? Really? You think a strain? These are the people. Biden's going to bring in the people that he's had work for him and with him all his life, and it ain't you, and it ain't nobody that look like you. That's why you have to have an agenda. The heck are you talking about? Well, I think it's obviously it's going to be a strain. It's going to be a strain of them. Y'all don't know. Let me tell you. Before we get to the next quote, let me tell you the problem with black politics in a nutshell. I can tell you the whole problem with black politics in a nutshell. The problem is this. One, tokenism. Everybody wants to get put on as opposed to collective uplift. That's one. There's another problem with black politics too, though. It's not just about wanting to get put on. The other problem with black politics is that all we do and all we know how to do seems is to get other black people to vote. There's nothing that comes out of that. So now Latasha all confused and discombobulated and don't know why. I think it's going to be a strain. What do you mean? This is America. It's not a strain. It's politics. Unless you do something disruptive to make sure that's not what happens this time around. And you didn't do it. You failed. All of y'all failed. You just failed. You're just walking little F's everywhere. Just walking L's. You didn't do anything for what comes after. The only thing you know how to do is get souls to the polls. You know how to get us to vote, but you don't understand and you don't leverage your power for what happens once somebody wins that office. There's no contract. We don't have anything that we say we're going to do this for you. It's got to be transactional, dodo bird. You don't have anything that says once you get there, we want this. Well, I know it's going to be a lot of white men. I wouldn't be even upset if it was a white man who said, you know what, I'm the chief economist in the White House, whatever, but I'm in favor of reparations. I would have no problem with him. You knock yourself out. Call me for a meeting. Let's do it. I had no problem with that. We are agenda driven. Y'all are just identity driven. That's a problem. Don't let those nonprofit dollars go to your head. They will make you think you're more than you are, and you ain't. Let's go to a couple of more quotes, though, just to wrap this thing up in a nice, tidy bow. Their worries are underlined by the ongoing uncertainty over what exactly Harris's portfolio will be in the Biden administration, and how much freedom she will have to chart her own course on issues like racial justice and immigration. I don't know what that got to do with me. But it is far from clear how that personal relationship, they're talking about the relationship between Kamala and Joe Biden, will translate to official roles. Biden has not announced a portfolio for Harris, and the way Biden handled the economic stimulus for Obama. And Harris's allies are watching anxiously to see if she will be allowed to choose her top staffers or if Biden loyalists will be installed. Oh, they didn't plan for it. They watching anxiously. They didn't know. Many black activists are not waiting to find out. Patrisse Cullors, co-founder of the Movement for Black Lives, has written a letter on the group's behalf to Biden and Harris requesting a meeting to convey their demands. Oh, let me just say something really quick. Fam, if we don't figure anything else out in this life, let's figure out the fact that we input demands before the election. Whatever demands you got, we got to take care of that before you get me doing souls to the polls. I'm not finna do your GOTV just off. We got to get Trump out of there. We got to get Trump out of there. Trump, he crazy. Okay, yeah, he is. He racist. Yeah, been a lot of them too. I agree with you. But I ain't voting based on that. Come again? If not, you just end up just like this, just dizzy, dumb, and confused. Don't know what you're doing. Don't know what's happening. What role she gonna get. You have no idea. Oh, well, we don't know. We gotta wait intently. And they ain't even talking to us. We wrote a letter. Color said she had not received a response to her letter. I wouldn't write y'all back either. The fact that we have to ask for a seat at the table after the way we showed up shows that Democrats have a lot of work to do when it comes to rewarding and listening to the black folks that made this victory possible, she said. Now, I have a question. How many times do you have to learn the same lesson? How many times? How many times do you have to learn the same lesson? It's not hard. You can't just give Democrats your vote for nothing and then show up later. Didn't you learn something when they put Al Sharpton and Mark Morial outside in the snow when Obama did that to them, that you're going to have to get something early? You can't get it late. You can't just do that, what they want you to do, and then show up and say, they won't let me come in. I don't know. They ain't sent me no letter. They ain't sent me nothing. I ain't got nothing. I ain't got no invite. I ain't got no press credentials. I don't have nothing. Nothing. And let me tell you what, even if they give you a meeting, they're going to do you the same way that they did Mark Morial and them. They're going to give you a meeting. You're going to come out with a goose egg or something close to a goose egg. They're going to give you a turd. Now, you might try to shine that turd up and make us think it's something other than a turd, but it's a turd. That's what they're going to give you. It just is what it is. This is the playbook. It happens every time. And y'all gonna be mad at us for voting down ballot. You better go somewhere. But the prospect of Harris carving out her own identity within the administration would be a departure from the traditional role of the vice president as a low-profile servant of the president, one without a separate agenda. Yes. Biden has promised that his government will look like the country, but for now, he relies on a small clutch of mostly white male advisors who have long been by his side. Ronald A. Klain, who was recently named his chief of staff, and advisor Steve Ricchetti and Mike Donnellan are seen in Biden's orbit as likely to receive high-level White House posts. Others said they were curiously optimistic. Amy Allison, head of the organization She the People, said Harris has reached out to black women on social media and elsewhere in an unprecedented way. I've never experienced that as a black woman in my lifetime, and I think anyone's lifetime. Let me tell y'all something. These people crazy. What in the world does Kamala Harris reaching out to you from on social media have to do with anything? I don't even understand why the reporter didn't push back and say, ma'am, what stupid stuff are you talking about? Who cares? That is not an agenda. When you see, let me go back here for 1 second. What's this quote? That is not an agenda. None of this stuff that these people are talking about is an agenda. That's not an agenda. None of this stuff. Oh, that's one quote that I want to go back to. But nobody said anything about specific agenda. I think she should talk to us. I think she ought to have something to say to black people. I think I ought to be able to come to the meeting. That's not an agenda. We have to rally behind a specific agenda. We have to get behind a specific agenda. If you don't understand anything, we talk about Obama as a placeholder. Everybody was happy that Obama was black and that Obama was ingratiating white. If you happy that you hired a man who ingratiates himself to racism in a way that we never would, then we have tokenism. Y'all gonna be happy that Cedric or Richmond or whatever his name is. What's his name? What's the little Cancer Alley man name? Y'all gonna be happy that he's in office for what? Tokenism and not having a transformative black agenda with reparations as the heartbeat is the problem. Ain't no other way around it. And if you want to know what ails us, and if you want to know why people, why I don't understand why ADOS is around, why y'all got to do that, why y'all got to act like that, don't make no sense to me. We're around because it's necessary. That's what we're around for. This is a problem. You had, oh my goodness, where's this other picture? You had, when we talk about tokenism, everybody just want a job. Marcia Fudge, she want to be AG secretary. I've been very, very loyal. I've been extremely loyal to the party. See, nobody, they're not being loyal to ADOS. They're being loyal to the Democrats so that they can get put on. So you want to get put on here. Cedric is trying to get put on over here. Kamala's trying to get put on over here. Right? Everybody trying to get put on. That's tokenism. I just want something for myself. And individualism. I want something for myself. I've been loyal. I was loyal to you. What she's saying in that quote is I was loyal to you to get something for me in the end. That doesn't work for us. Not as because we rise together, fall together. These people are careerists who are mostly concerned with themselves. That does not work for us. So the takeaway, fam, as we talk about what Obama was and what Biden is, the takeaway is this. What we're seeing, even you see the infighting with the leftists and the liberals, and they both don't have what we need. And even in terms of the people who are supposed to do what we hired them to do and have what we need, they're more concerned with rising to the top themselves. And then when they get somebody in the room that they were supposed to get somebody in, they don't know what to do with them. They don't have a plan outside of getting black people to vote, because that's all the nonprofit money they get. That's the bulk of it, is voter outreach. Don't work that way. And we can't be successful as a group if that's how it works. If all we have is tokenism and people who do voter outreach and then disappear after the vote is cast, who don't know how to do agenda politics, who don't understand that politics is transactional. If we don't have that, we are destined to fail, and we have to fix it. And you are seeing it right now. You are seeing the Democratic Party from the left to the center don't have a real plan for us. And we have people who don't have a plan for how to pressure them to have a plan for us. And so the only solution is what we are and what we're doing right here. The only solution is who we are and how we're advocating as ADOS, because they're never going to do it. They play the same game every 4 years, the same game. And that's a winning game sometimes for them. It's never a winning game for us as a group. And so that is the lesson and the takeaway, fam. And I'm going to give me a few minutes to set up the calls. I will be right back, and we will be back to have the conversation. So give me a few minutes, fam, and we'll be back to talk about it. All right, fam, we are back. We are back. We are back. For those who didn't know, also, I have been creeping the start time back earlier. I said that last week. For those who didn't miss it, I crept it to 9:45, and we're gonna set it at 9:30. So I've been trying to creep it back up. People got to go to bed. People got to go to work. So I've been trying to creep that up. For those who came here like, I thought, I don't know what happened. That's what happened. And let me just remind everybody, while we're coming back from break, the half has never been told. December the 10th, that will be our book club book. So if you have not, the half has never been told, please pick it up. December the 10th, that's going to be our day. Now let me go straight to the calls. I'm going straight to the calls. What is your name? Where are you calling from? And tell me what is on your mind. I am going first to, I just lost it. I'm going to 404. 404. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. What's up with you?
Not much. Finally glad this election is over with. As far as I'm tired of, the news making it like it's a football game or something. Who's winning, who's losing.
Yeah.
And a quick takeaway from the election: Biden should have won in the landslide. I don't even understand how they messed that up. Well, actually, I do.
Yeah.
The biggest problem I see with the Democratic Party is they're full of empty platitudes and cliches. There's nothing there. It's just that, hey, Trump bad, we not him, vote for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, that big tent that they're trying to operate up under, a big tent is only good for a circus. That's all you're going to get out of a big tent.
Wait a minute. Wait, sometimes you say something good. Say that again. A big tent is only good for a circus. Say that again.
A big tent is only good for a circus. That's all you're going to get out of a big tent.
They want us in that big tent, though.
We got the bearded woman and all this other stuff going on, which plays right back into the Democrats, because that's the other thing they're good at, symbolism.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll be an empirical power. We don't believe in the corporate Democrats, don't believe in much more than what really the Republicans believe, except we're going to do it diverse. We're going to make sure we put some, LGBTQ people or something like that into, positions, but we're still going to hold the same positions as the Republicans, basically, because we don't separate ourselves from them.
Yep, we're just going to bring some brown people in. All of you brown people can be a part of this, too. Just come close to me. Yeah?
Right. And, as far as us as a voting bloc, one of the things I try to instill in the people around me is to get them to understand, first and foremost, politicians are not Moses. They are Pharaoh. Mm-hmm. They are the ones with the power. They're the ones that you need to go to and say, hey, let my people go. Let my resources go. I need these things. They are not Moses. They are not the ones that's going to lead us to the promised land. And so many people, put the stock into them, treat them like they're celebrities, things of that nature. I'm not saying go out there and treat politicians bad, but what I am saying is this is transactional. Like you said, hey, you want my vote? Like we're in Georgia right now. We got a Senate race coming up.
True.
I put out on my Facebook page, asking, okay, Democrats, y'all want the black vote to show up again? What you got for us? Do you know how many people, what you asking them for something for? Because they're the ones with the power. I mean, if I'm hungry, shouldn't I ask the cook?
You should. You should.
I don't know.
You absolutely should.
How's that weird to y'all?
Yeah, why are you asking them for something? Democrats could have the Senate. I need to know when they do have it that there's something there for me. If you get it and I don't get nothing out of you having it, then what is the point of you getting it in terms of like what I need? Don't make no sense.
I don't need to see a black face in a high place that's gonna treat me just as bad as the white people.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I don't care if someone ran and they were like, look, I am a straight up 3%er, KKK, blah blah blah, whoop-de-whoop. But you know what? I want you black people to get y'all home. Here's y'all resources. Here's some reparations, monies, and all that. Get away from me. You know what? You got my vote.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Hey, give me mine. I'm properly resourced. I got my reparations. I'll holler at you. I don't ever need to see you again.
Yep, don't want to see you
somebody,
again.
hey, I look like you. Okay, what you going to do for me? I look like you. That's not doing anything for me.
Yep, absolutely, fam. I'd be like, I'm a brother or I'm a sister. What that got to do with anything? We got to talk agendas. So
I'm in a third fraternity.
Yeah. I'm frat. I'm soror. That's good, but what you gonna do for your soror? You got a lot of sorors and frats who not doing well right now. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about the inheritance we never got? What are you gonna do?
And another talking point that's off the table for black folks, because I don't want to hear it, is when they come with the whole, why you asking Biden for nothing? Y'all didn't ask Trump for nothing. Okay, Ice Cube literally asked Trump for something, and y'all wanted to cancel him immediately. And all he did was just put the plan in front of power like you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
You don't understand politics, you don't realize that.
Yeah, you don't have everybody else. And the thing is, I don't know why. You know what, fam? No, I thought everybody would understand politics more after Trump. Because we saw all these Latino groups and everybody we saw all these tech companies, everybody went to Trump because they understood that Trump is the president now and we're going to have to deal with that. And we were still going around talking about we would never. And you don't go in there like Steve Harvey and them, like you an individual. What you going there from opportunity zone stuff? But I'm talking about as a group, you always have an ask. As a group though, not as your individual brand. You always have an ask. We saw all kind of Latino groups go into Trump's meeting and you talking about you would never. That don't make and I'm talking about early days. After the early days, he showed us he wasn't really gonna do nothing. His tax plan, it went to the top 20, 10 to 20%. You know he's not gonna do nothing then. The problem though is like early on when people were saying that, everybody else was going. What are you talking about? You can't go. Politics, listen, the bird of America flies with two wings, Republican and Democrat. That's just what it is. I didn't build it that way. I didn't build a bird, but the bird fly how the bird fly.
There it is. So, I mean, like I said, people don't understand power. And I try and, push them towards, people like you. To, try and get them a political education. But, I mean, it just seems like sometimes our people just don't want it. We want to stay asleep. It seems like to me, our people are content with getting a shade tree and a 30-minute break on the plantation and they cool.
Ooh.
Let white mommy and daddy handle everything. We don't want no power. We don't want nothing. I mean, Clyburn literally said that, oh, shucks, I don't want nothing.
I don't want nothing, sir.
I mean, come on,
boss.
man.
Boss, I don't need nothing, boss. I like working for you. I work for you all these years.
We need everything. Mm-hmm. No, bro, I need everything. I need you from day one. Put everything on the table. Everything. Empty out the coffers for the black folks.
I agree, fam.
That's what we need.
I agree, fam. I want to thank you for calling in. I appreciate your call. And I absolutely agree with you that we need everything and we ask for nothing. How are you a group that needs everything and ask for nothing? Well, we're going to try to get in there and see what they say. And it makes no sense that we can't get in the room. You didn't set up. See, you can want to get in the room. You don't have a process for getting in the room. Right? That's your fault. You gave away everything. Right? It's just like you make a deal with somebody and you hand them $5,000 and say, well, we're gonna meet up later and you're gonna give me the thing that I bought from you for the $5,000. They don't show up. You say, oh my God, I can't believe that person ran off with my money. Well, you didn't have a process to ensure that they didn't run off. You didn't send no people with them or nothing. You didn't have no process to ensure that. So what you expect? You have crazy. Anyway, let me go to my next caller. I'm going to 763. 763, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, sis, this is
I can't hear you good, fam. You're a little low. You're a little low. Go ahead.
This Minister Toya is down here in Minnesota.
Got you.
I want to tell you that, first of all, I want to thank you, for all that you do. As always, I want to thank you because I am so appreciative for what you do. And you motivate me to continue to push and continue to fight this fight. And I want people to know that just because we allowed the Democrats to play us like Wimpy played Popeye and Olive Oil and said, I gladly pay you on Tuesday, that we can't stop fighting. We cannot stop fighting. Ados, Minnesota, we're not official yet, but we have decided that if they don't, in the Green Party down here, Black Caucus, if they don't talk about reparations on day one, we're going to be in Washington on day two. We is not playing with him. And we're not about to let up. We're not going to stop fighting this fight because we believe that even though we have some Negroes that decided that it was okay to continue to let them play us like the girl at the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning that you can hit and just keep going on with. We're not going to continue to let them. We're not going to stop there. I believe that it's time. It's time for them to give us what we need. The medium income here in Minnesota for average black family is $15,000, and it's $60,000 for the white family. We can't continue to live like that. And we're not going to allow them to continue to play us like that. So I want to give all my ADOS families hope. Just because he's there don't mean that we don't have to stop standing on their neck. We get to protest and work. I know, because I do it all the time. I do it in the COVID. Right? So, and I believe that. So I'm just not going to stop.
No, I thank you, fam. I appreciate you. We're not going to stop either. And I'm going to talk about that off the call, but I want to thank you so much, and I appreciate your passion. Ooh, passion, nothing you can buy. So I appreciate that, fam. You can't buy passion.
I didn't.
I had already hit the thing, fam. I apologize. I had already hit the little thing to go off. I'm being like Iron up in here. But I appreciate her passion because you can't buy passion. And the one thing I want people to understand though as well is, listen, ADOS is we should have, I can't believe all this is not her. She's right. We got to keep going. For those who seem to be or may be getting frustrated, this is an extremely young movement. We're talking late 2017 to 2020. That like late 2017, early 2018. This is a young movement. And look at how much we've already moved the needle. And now we're getting organized and we're recruiting. Come on, fam. Like, we don't have any reason to be anything but hopeful about who we are and what we can do. That's all I want to say about that. Anyway, let me go to my next caller. I am going now to 703. 703, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette?
Hey, fam, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? This is Brandon, man, calling from the DMV.
Okay.
Man, I got a chance to kick it with you and Tone and everybody a couple of years ago in Birmingham.
Okay.
At the Angela Project.
Yeah.
I was the one who told you about. I asked Terry Sewell about the hookworm outbreak. So it's good to connect with you. I can't believe I'm on the line right now. Yeah. But the tokenism that you were talking about with Cedric, the guy from from Louisiana, that's something that I think about as I had to leave. I mean, as I left Birmingham, and really, man, I'm kind of nervous right now.
Take your time, fam. It's all good. You're among family.
I appreciate all the work, man, that you and Tony are doing. But as I was leaving Birmingham, I was thinking about just all of the tokenism that I saw from the mayor there and the different moves that are being made now. Like Birmingham right now is 74% black. So when you think about the wealth data and you think about the opportunities right now, Trump made Birmingham, my hometown, the face of opportunity zones. When you click on the website, you see it, and you see these people that are like just absolutely just disenfranchised and locked out of the city. And in the middle of the pandemic, like, he started closing libraries, he started laying off city employees, and we just saw we saw opportunity after opportunity leave the predominantly black city that has primarily is figurehead. It's like we just see black leadership, but we don't see the results of that black leadership coming through to help the will of the people. And I think about my final days before we moved to come to DC. Like I had to kind of really put all of this in context, and you all, ADOS, and I just appreciate all of this just really helping, frame it, the framing of the wealth data and why everybody was locked out, and why these moves are made. And right now the push is to go private. And I feel like Birmingham, just it being my hometown, I feel like it's a part of like some study, because you see these like different cities that are using like little templates. And I think you talked about it like on your last show about if we allow the situation in California with the Uber law, if that goes national, how detrimental that would be to ADOS America.
Yeah.
Across America. I think about what this privatization that's being used in Birmingham will how that will affect, how it's affecting those blue collar, those labor jobs that we have there, and how if we try to push that across the nation, just the impact of that. And
exactly.
I am just so happy that we have this resource, this place to go to. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but it's just been a lot going on, and you just see it front line, just
that's true.
Firsthand of everything that takes place, and we just got to keep fighting.
No, I appreciate you, fam, and you're right. We're seeing everything. It's almost like, and I appreciate that. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling in. And I appreciate, let me just say this. I appreciate the fact that, COVID has been kind of an accelerator. And you don't want an accelerator of bad things to happen to Adolf. That's not what you want. But one of the things that you saw is that it is starting to help people see, oh, I am screwed. I really don't have savings. I really don't have inheritance. Oh my goodness. People really are living on inheritance and I don't have it. This is going to be a problem for me. Right? This is going to be an issue for me. This is an issue for me. And COVID has accelerated that. So on the one hand, it's awful. We have a pandemic. We got a plague. On the other hand, the benefits, silver linings, we can all see who we are and what we were robbed of because of what everybody else is kind of pulling from. Right? So that's kind of where we are. Let me go to my next call. I am going to 256. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, my name is James.
Hey, James.
Hey, yeah. I'm in San Diego. I'm going to just say, I appreciate everything that you and Antonio done did because we got a big problem now, especially out here in California. We go fight these fires. When you go to prison, you got to go fight these fires for $1 and something a day. But when you get out, you can't get a job as a fireman at all. Period. Another thing, and also when you go to prison down here, they make you they ask you, what are you? Are you a blood or a crip? And right there, if you come up in the neighborhood, if you ain't a gang member, you don't choose which one they throw you in there with the opposite one. So and then once you say you that, then they get you for an STG. That's called Security Threat Group. And you the same thing as a Taliban or anybody else. See, so they do a lot of things to us, and we lucky to have a voice like you and Tone fighting for us. And that's all I really got to say.
Oh, I appreciate you, fam. That's something. Oh, thank you, fam. I appreciate it. And let me just say, because he said something about prisons and prisoners, like I saw an awful article about how many prisoners have died of COVID. But not only that, how many, I put it up on my timeline, I had missed it. I just saw it today. It came out a few days ago. About how many of those who were in prison had not been convicted of a crime. It was in Texas. So they were, I guess, awaiting trial or whatever. And you have not been convicted of a crime and you still die in prison because this is America. And that's why I say the problem is when I talk about the fact that people are not outraged. That is something that Americans need to deal with themselves. And I'm not talking about, Obama even said something else stupid like this is, when he said, when we talk about Jim Crow, we all have to own that. No, I don't have to own nothing, Obama. I don't. And my people don't. We don't. No. That is something that has been inflicted on us. You don't have to own something that was inflicted upon you. Right? So don't say we all have to own that. No. The person who victimized us has to own it. The group that did that has to own it. And the problem that we have in America right now is that group don't want to own that. And until they decide to own that, we're going to have a problem. And until we have a politics that pushes them to own that, we going to have a problem. That's just what it is. And ain't no ingratiating and smiling that you going to do ever going to change that. Because you were never the man for the job anyway. But I'm happy we learned from you. We learned what not to do. And hopefully how not to advocate. For at least some of us. And this group will grow beyond what people think it will. It's fine. Going to my next call. I am going to 757. 757. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. It's a pleasure to talk to you tonight.
Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
I'm doing fine. I'm Dave. I'm calling from Norfolk.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to get some clarification on your position on the debt forgiveness, the student loan debt forgiveness. I'm not clear. It sounds like you're saying that anything that will help other people, including white people, that we should almost be against. Is that what you're saying? Because it would certainly help I know it would help me and a lot of people I know to have our student loan debt forgiven so we can pursue other things like home ownership and family formation. Could you clarify that for me?
Well, it will help me too. I still have student loans. It will help me too. But I'm not interested in just helping me. I think in terms of our agenda, we have a priority, right? And the question is, who does it help most? And so if we don't want to be in a New Deal scenario again. So what am I talking about? If you put together a New Deal scenario, what you have in terms of politics as personnel as well is you have a situation where the people who will benefit the most are white people. What that means is that the hierarchy that we currently have stays in place. ADOS on the bottom, white people here, and right below them some brown people, and then us on the very bottom. This does not disrupt that hierarchy, and our priority has to be disrupting that hierarchy and positioning ourselves much higher up on the hierarchy because we built the country. Let me just say this: you only get one shot. You're not gonna get, like, if they do this, they're not gonna do nothing else for years to come, for decades, maybe even generations. You only get one shot. I'm not gonna take that shot for something that doesn't benefit the collective, that benefits mostly white people. And brown people, because they have a much higher percentage of people that go to school, that go to college and complete college. I'm not going to do, especially given the fact that a lot of our people who did go to college, yes, you want debt forgiveness, but they don't. We talk about plugs and outlets. A lot of people who went to college who are ADOS still, hey, it's great that debt is gone, but you have a plug, but you don't have an outlet to put your education into. So it didn't create a stable job for you anyway. So what I'm saying is that in terms of our agenda, the center of that has to be reparations. That is it. And a transformative black agenda that we talk about on ADOS101.com, that's fine. But specificity is the key. Specifically for us, not for everybody else, and then it includes us too. Let me just say one more thing. I heard this during Obamacare. You had Al Sharpton and everybody else going on TV said it benefits us too because we need health care too. Well, that's fine, but that's not part of a black agenda, something that includes us too. So you leave me in a position where, yeah, I have health care now through Obamacare. I pay $500 a month. Okay. So it included me. But how is that? That's you giving me this $500 insurance is not part of a black agenda. And that's what we need. Specificity is key. And this is the last thing I'll say. Class don't fix race. And we need to fix race. That's a class-based policy. Just because it benefits me and benefits you, it doesn't benefit the group. And we're about group and collective uplift. So that's what I'll say to that. Now I'll let you talk. Sorry, went on for a minute.
No, thank you for that clarification. I understand that, but I still want to say that I believe collectively we're approaching almost $1 trillion in student loan debt. That much money to be forgiven certainly would help whatever we're doing. There's no one magic bullet policy that's going to change the racial wealth gap in any way. But that would certainly help in such a way.
There is a magic bullet, though. Let me just say, there's a magic bullet. Reparations is the magic bullet. We do have a magic bullet. That is the magic bullet. Reparations is the magic bullet. We do have one. Let me let you finish.
Okay, I see your point on that, but I just think it's still it's a step on the road to reparations, not necessarily reparations, but I see your point. I'd like to ask one more question if I could. It's a little lighthearted, but Governor, I guess is his name Newsom in California?
Yeah.
He's deciding on picking a senator. And I had a list of people I want to throw at you to see what you think.
I'm not going through the list. You can throw me one, fam. I'm not going through the list, but you can throw me one out and I'll let you know. Throw me one, not the whole list. No, we're not doing the whole list because I got other people on the line. But you can throw me one and I'll tell you. I don't want any of those people that you just mentioned. So let's just put that out there right now. So I don't want any of them. So we can leave that right there. I don't want. I'm good.
I told y'all one that I want.
Who?
How about Antonio Moore?
Oh, you want old Tone talks up there? If he'll do it, y'all put Tone. He gonna get the tussling. He get the tussling with a senator on the floor. But hey, I think Antonio make a great senator. But I also think I ain't got no argument against nothing like that. I got no argument to get nothing like that. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Except for temperament, you gotta be. Those people crazy. These white folks crazy. Anyway, fam, let me get to the next call. I am going now to. I am going to. Let me see. 810. I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? You there, 810? I guess 810. What's on your mind? He picked up at the wrong right when I hung up. 610. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, this is Nat Turner. And what's on my mind? I'm gonna close something that nobody's bringing about this student loan debt, and why you are correct, and what it doesn't change everything. People don't understand this student loan debt is paid. If it is paid, it's paid to white institutions. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna make them stronger. And these same institutions that ran slavery, that built that builds on slavery. So when you say debt, it's not going in the thin air. It's going into white institutions. The same ones that ran the slave trade, made their money off the slavery. I'm talking about Princeton, Yale, Harvard, all these other colleges that's out here that was ran by, built by slave owners. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about it's going to help everybody, no, it's going to help whites because all the student loan money going back to white institutions.
Yep.
So all these people talking about it's going to help everybody. I mean, when I listen to some people, I mean, they ain't got common sense. They ain't got common sense. Common sense comes from what you born as. Ain't no institution can give you that. And I mean, it's just a simple thing. It's just so. When I hear some people, I think they the stupidest thing in the world. I can't believe I'm in a society where people is actually thinking like that. I mean, I only have a GED.
Well, you know what I think it is, fam?
To think they,
you know what I think it is, fam? Honestly, I think we have a problem sometimes in terms of our ability to think together, right? I think some people just I would like my student loan debt cleared out. The problem is we're not doing anything collectively for the group. You're doing something for yourself as an individual that benefits you. And they're not even thinking about what you just said. Yeah, it benefits you. It benefits way more white colleges than HBCUs or anything like that. And so they're not even thinking about. They're thinking about how does this benefit? This benefits me, because most of the black people that you hear say that's a good idea are black people who have a degree and who want their individual debt wiped out.
I'm just wondering why people can't see that. And it's like I'm in the twilight zone. Mm. That's common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a big boost. It's going to be reparations for these institutions that ran slavery.
Mm.
I mean, sometimes I hear people, they got GED, and I'm like, the real education is out your womb, your mother's womb, and that's what your IQ is. And all the other institution is, whether you can gather it, but what is the IQ come out as? That's really how far you can see.
Well, I think you can. It's nature versus nurture, right? So I think you can teach yourself to learn. I think you can train yourself to think in a certain way. So I think you absolutely can do that. But I think a lot of people just don't do that, and a lot of people are just like, well, I want my student debt. I have student debt. I want my student debt repaid, and I don't want to have to pay this bill every month. For me, it's kind of like I want group uplift. So my bill will be my bill. I pay my bill every month, and my bill will be my bill. But I don't want just my stuff erased, because I understand what this means in terms of white America gets to keep their inheritance. And then, like you said, white schools get a bunch of money, and my group is still on the bottom. So it doesn't do for the group, and you have to be about the group. But I'm gonna let you finish up, fam. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's a good point, and I'm happy you added that on. What I'm saying is this: when you talk about paying reparations, people understand common sense. Reparations mean repair.
Yeah.
Repair. You injured me in any institution that the white man built. They got a thing for repair. They know what it is.
They do.
They did damage.
Yep.
And it's common sense when people say repair. I mean, they don't understand. I mean, it just boggles my mind.
I know.
That people got common sense.
Boggles my mind.
America, and they say also, people say, when you say you're American, people say, listen, people don't understand there's more than one type of America. There's the rich ones that got all the advantage. There's the Indians that had land stole. There's the ones that had to do free labor and kept on the bottom. So when you say American, there are different types of Americans.
It is.
It's not just rich white people.
Exactly.
So when you say American, we are American. Our blood is in the soul. We're American, but we're not the rich ones.
No.
We're not the one they advertise.
Yep, with a plunder.
I mean, it's so common sense. I don't understand it. It boggles my mind. That is just simple stuff.
I agree, fam.
All right, thank
some people don't want to think.
Taking my call.
Appreciate it, fam. But some people, let me just say, some people don't want to think. Thank you, fam, for calling in. It boggles my mind, too. But some people don't want to think. Some people just want to get whatever they can get and get out. Slide in and slide out. They're not really invested in thinking. They're not really invested in advocacy. They're not really invested in their ancestors. They're not really invested in their kids. Some people just don't want that burden of having to think. And so they just avoid it. It's not that they don't have the capacity. They just avoid it. That's what it is. I'm going to my next call. I am going to 678. 678, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing, Yvette?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Very well. Hey, I was thinking about our old family member used to call you and say, you dead. Remember that guy?
Fall off. Yep, I remember.
Yeah, that goes to show you how far I go back.
Yeah, you go back. You go back a minute.
Yeah, and one of the subjects I want to talk about tonight to encourage our family member, our ADO's family. Remember, ADOS voted down ballot. Mm-hmm. And it was this big thing on Facebook saying the lesser of two evils. All right? Now, there's a vote between Lucifer and Satan. Now, folks getting all panicky that we got Satan. And so, got this the lesser of two evils. Evil is evil. This guy record sucks. Make me wonder why Obama even picked him from the beginning. You know?
You know why?
And on top of that, oh yeah, to get certain votes because he ain't none of us. You know, he got the skin, but he ain't no kin. Just like they weasel their way into our lineage, into our heritage to collectively get our vote. But I want to encourage our family members. Y'all listen to me, and I'm going to get off this phone. This Obama 1.2 is exactly what ADOS is going to need, especially during this pandemic. Show you how God works. We can't go out nowhere. We got to stay in, and we're going to be watching these politicians. And ADOS has the difference between the past and what's going on now. We're going to be pouring it out to them. And we're going to say, I tried to tell you, because when you were trying to tell us, when you back in the early days, I didn't even want to listen because I was drinking Obama Kool-Aid too. But Tone came with them doggone with that data, and then I started getting a better political education. I started watching these clowns. Then I said, "Damn, that ain't right." And look at these numbers from slavery. We've been robbed from slavery. 240 years of slavery, 10 years of failed Reconstruction, 100 years of Jim Crow. Burning down our collective black, economically healthy communities like Oklahoma City, Atlanta, Roseville. That list is long. That's the reason these college graduates got a plug and they got no outlet. They burned our outlet down. You know, we ain't got no plug. You know, they burned our outlet down.
Oh, my God.
community. They didn't burn down the Italian community. They didn't burn down the Jewish community. They didn't burn down the Irish community. They burned down our community. If they'd have left us alone, you bet we would be autonomously wealthy. We wouldn't have to ask crackers for nothing.
Well, you know what? You know what? Though, I told somebody today. I said, listen, even after slavery, like even if the federal government had stayed around, because we became lawmakers. We were in Congress right after we got the right after Reconstruction and stuff like that. During Reconstruction.
Reconstruction was the only time America was America.
Like if they had,
and it was sabotage.
Yeah, but if they had protected, if they had, like, it's kind of like King said. There's a King said, we just want you to stand by what you said on paper. You said something on paper. America has never done that. Not for us.
And see, like reparations, what a lot of our family members don't understand, that reparations is more than a check. It comes with protections, and it comes with sanctions to protect our investment from banks, insurance companies, and all the people that ripped us off in the past, and land, and from the government, really. Mm-hmm.
You're right. You're right about it.
But as I depart, because I know you got some other calls. As I depart, this 1.2 Obama, what Biden is going to implement, is going to leave more ADOS where they don't gave their vote and then get nothing for it. And as we continue to march on, listen to me, family, as we continue to march on, as we continue to advocate, as we continue to recruit, ADOS 101. I had put a little distance in there, some Korean stuff came up, but I corrected it. But you got to tell family members, ADOS 101. Continue recruiting, because these clowns are going to swell our rank as we continue. I want to thank the people out there in Minnesota. Continue to push to get their chapter up. Continue to work with your chapter. Continue to do that local politics. I'm telling y'all, this is a movement. I'm 62 years old. I might not see a dime, but I'm advocating for it, for our ancestors. So many of our ancestors fought for slavery and was never free. Some of our ancestors fought for to get rid of Jim Crow and died in Jim Crow. Some fought for civil rights and never saw civil rights. And me, myself, I'm fighting for reparations if I don't see a dime. Y'all fight on, family, because victory is ours. We're on the right side of history.
Always have been. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that. Always have been. That was a wonderful call, and I appreciate you, fam. Always have been. Always have been on the right side of history. That's who we are, right? And so, like, you know, you do fight for stuff that, like, you don't know if you're gonna see, right? You fight for the people to come after you. Everybody got to fight, not only for themselves, but the people. And that's kind of my problem with the college debt conversation. I want my college debt, like, erased. Or I want my. We gotta fight. You gotta fight for the collective. That's how we fight. We don't just fight for ourselves. We're not just fighting for our individual selves. We're fighting for a whole collective. That's what you fight for, right? And so that's what you have to prioritize. You have to prioritize the collective as opposed to your individual self. Because if you prioritize yourself, the next generation won't get nothing. Because you just got it all for yourself. You won't eat all the food. That's not how we do things around here. Anyway, I'm going to 336. 336. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
What is happening, Yvette Cornell?
What's going on, family? How you been doing?
This is the last African calling from Trinity. Right?
Is it now?
Yeah, it is.
All right. What's on your mind?
What I wanted to touch on is something I've been hearing from our people, and the more I listen, you know, because I'm trying to take it in, and I don't want to be judgmental. But I'm starting to see a lot of what our condition, that condition, is in this country.
Okay.
Now, I look at the NBA and I see all these guys out there. You know, they got plenty. You know, now of course the protesting that they're doing, right? It's noble, but if they changed, if you really had some pride, if you had pride, now all the HBCUs in this country, I always thought that if all those endorsement dollars from ESPN and CBS and NBC Sports and all these people, if we were taking titles, if you stack the team up, because every team in the country, ain't nobody watching 10 white boys play basketball. You feel where I'm going?
Okay.
So, if we control the things, like we can, as all the when I watch Duke and Carolina play basketball, the stands are filled with none of our people. But if you look on that court, about eight of the brothers out there. I'm talking about both teams.
Mm.
And if you want to count the benches, you're gonna see mostly brothers, right?
Okay.
Every college team across the country, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So we are the talent. We are the, we are the talent. And out of all the players, now, if we stack the teams at HBCUs, right, and we start winning the championships, like kind of like what I think, what I believe Deion Sanders is doing down at Jackson, down there in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to put an all-star team together at a black school. But if you take all of that talent and they dominate across the country, well, that's going to bring scholarships to black schools, to science programs, to, money. It's going to bring endorsement dollars to that school. And that is something that, you talking about education, we don't need free education. We can educate our own. Right? And we have more pride in our own, what we have, what's ours. Right? We putting all our pride and our sweat and our energy into somebody else's house. Saying that's like when you say Duke, and I'm representing Duke and Syracuse and all these different schools.
What the problem is?
I'm representing that's somebody else's. You couldn't even get in.
But the problem is,
they was ready to burn it down in 1964.
Yeah, but the problem is
trying to let about 4 or 5 of you in there.
The problem is that the other person's house has all the money and the resources, right? And so you got to understand that the athletes, I don't mean no disrespect, but let's not overplay the athletes, because there's a whole distribution mechanism. There's a whole way that sports gets on TV. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that gets that thing to there. And we don't have the thing that gets that thing to there in terms of all the resources, the networks, the social capital, the way it gets on TV. We don't own any of those networks. They didn't let us do it. We don't even have radio stations thanks to the Telecom Act. So we can't do, so the minute you do all that stuff, what happens is they just shut you down. Because they didn't give you, they plundered, they didn't pay slaves, and then they plundered and took everything away from the descendants of slaves. So what happens is, yeah, you can do a lot of that, and I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just trying to say that you don't have the resources that they have. And they have enough resources if you do get too much out of the box to kind of try to take you out of the box. So we don't have the endowments, and we don't have the social capital and the stuff that like undergirds this whole industry of college sports. Now, that's why I keep going back to, and I want to thank you for calling in, Colin. I'm going to try to get in a couple more calls, so I'm going to let you go. But that's why I keep going back to reparations, because none of these ideas really work unless you pay us what you pay us. Unless you pay us like it's a debt. So that debt is what allows us to do a lot of the stuff that y'all are talking about. It's what allows us to implement a lot of the stuff that y'all talk about implementing. There's no doing it though without, like, you're going to compete against somebody with $1 billion endowment with a few million? Well, why do we just got a few million? We can raise money too. No, we shouldn't, and we shouldn't even have to. We can't. We're a wealthless group, and we shouldn't have to. Everything that we don't have is stuff that was stolen. So you have to give it back. There has to be redress. There has to be repair. So anyway, I'm going to the next call. I am going now to I'm going to 561. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Carl. I'm calling from Palm Beach County, Florida. How you doing, Yvette?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm thankful to the Creator. You know, when I hear us talk about debt that we owe to a educational system that has a deficit model, particularly for those of us who are non-immigrant blacks here in America, when we look at the way that it was constructed, and I think when we do our reparation move, I know we need to incorporate the idea that we've been given a knowledge that was void of the knowledge of ourselves in the educational process, and it was did on purpose. And that's the reason why right now we have a quest for the knowledge of self. and it was all orchestrated without utilizing our tax dollars to put us in such a position. But I think we've matured to the point now where we can see where that error took place, and I know it's time for us to really look at how we can use some of these systems that are already operating, since they already have the facilities and the busing and everything that they do in those kind of systems. I just think it's time for us to mature and look at these systems and see how we can fix ourselves in this very critical time. Because I think about when our elders talked about how they wanted to shut down the whole educational system, and we knew that was kind of impossible for people to do, because so much money is involved in it. And in fact, here in Palm Beach, the school district is the largest employer of everybody. And to have an interruption like what we got with the covert virus going on right now, and a lot of our school systems have been shut down, I think we need to take advantage of that. But I think we're going to have to sit down as a family and really look at what are the components that are needed for us to make such a change and really make a paradigm shift right now, with everybody teaching it at home right now and doing all of the things that we're doing. And since our churches are shut down, maybe we could give them an agenda, and they could build some HBCUs like they did back in the old days. And I was just wondering, what did you think about that?
Well, I did. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling in. But I kind of think the same thing. Like, I don't know how we get into the mode of like thinking that we're gonna build HBCUs right now. Like we driving Uber, and like Uber ain't even taking rides no more. I don't know what like we get this mindset of like that we're finna build the HBCU, because in America, one of the whole debates that I kind of had with Boyce back in the day was him saying we can do things, but they don't have to be white. Right. And I said, well, we can't build something like Harvard. And he was like, we can do our own. You're in America. You're American. You're not in a space where you don't have to compete with white people. You do. And you don't have the resources. We don't have the resources to do it. And it's like, for me, a lot of these ideas just seem fantastical without the wealth, or without being tapped into the wealth to make that happen. You can't just do it out of a mindset. You have to tap into. You have to have resources. And so I just don't see how that works without the resources. And we know why we don't have the resources. So anyway, let me go to another caller. Really quickly. I think this is somebody we lost. Let me go to 810-810. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Van, I'm sorry about earlier.
No problem.
This is Gerard Ibn Lamont from Detroit.
What's going on? How you doing?
So, nothing much, Yvette. We waiting on your call to let us know if we official chapter or not. So I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there.
Y'all one of them chapters that got a lot going on. Y'all one of them chapters that got a lot going on. There's some chapters got a lot going on. I ain't gonna call y'all's names, but y'all got a lot going on. That's y'all one of them.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I'm asking this question out of the main group that asked me to ask this question, so don't blame me. It goes.
I don't blame you.
How is ADOS going to have a seat at the table and displace BLM at that table, given the ubiquity of their brand versus the decisiveness of ours? If you want me to repeat it, I will.
No. I actually think our specificity is our power. So the thing is, BLM has power because people have poured a bunch of money in there, and people kind of know the people who pour money in there. I think, I have no evidence of this, but I have seen evidence of it in the way that it works. They kind of feel that pouring money in there is where black movements can go to die. So you remember I said we have agents of chaos and we have agents of misdirection. And I think BLM is an agent of misdirection. So it's great for all the powers that be to pour that money into there. And then that energy and money all goes into BLM. and BLM doesn't do anything but talk about how they didn't get an invitation to the White House. So you poured all that money into BLM. BLM didn't give you a plan. They didn't give you an outline. They didn't give you a law. They didn't write no legislation. They didn't do nothing. So I honestly feel that the failure of BLM, that's something that we have to make clear that it's failed. For us, it's done very well for whoever funds BLM. But for us, it's been a failure. Once you can acutely spell out what that failure is and how we're different and why we're different and what we're going to do specifically for ADOS in terms of reparations and for the black community in terms of our transformative agenda, it becomes an eye-opener. It's kind of like how people call in and say, oh my God, I never thought about it that way or whatever. Then you have like, oh, this is the thing. This is not the thing. This thing got a bunch of money and didn't do nothing. They can't even get into the White House. They got a bunch of $1 million off of black bodies, especially black male bodies, especially recently, Breonna Taylor too, right? They got a bunch of money off these about George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and before that Sandra Bland and Trayvon Martin. They collected a bunch of money off of these bodies, but they haven't done anything. There's no agenda, nothing that's worthwhile. We put the agenda up here and it's class based. Now I can make an argument. You're so bad, you make my argument so good. That's how bad you are. The only thing we need to work on is outreach, recruitment, and our media. Our media, in terms of how people have attacked us, is garbage. It's a lot of stuff we got to do, a lot of work we got to do. But I believe that BLM has been such a failure in terms of the group that they're supposed to be elevating and helping. You can't even get into the White House, boo. You got a bunch of money and you can't even get into the White House. Now you're just outside complaining. You collected all that money, talked to all them people. You didn't have no agenda. Now you outside talking about how they won't let you in. That's a failure. And we just got to be ready and willing to make that case consistently and do it in an organized way. So I don't think it's a problem.
That's what's up, Yvette. We still waiting on your call, Yvette. Let us know what's going on.
I got you, fam. I got you. I appreciate you. That was a good question, though. I appreciate you.
We're waiting, Yvette. We love you, but we waiting.
I got you, fam. I got you. You got a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. Y'all chapters, I don't know what y'all be doing. You be splitting up and doing all kinds of stuff. But we're going to take care of that, too. We're going to get all of this stuff all the way wrapped up. I'm going to probably my last call of the night. Oh, that call fell off, so I'm going to somebody else. I got a bunch of, I always have a bunch of calls in the thing now, in the queue. Well, let me just go ahead. Let me go. 856. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? You there, 856? 856. Don't want to hang up, and then you be like, hello. Well, 856 gotta go. I am going to 917. 917, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yvette to the car now.
What's going on? What's going on with you, Saggy Saw?
Sometimes you gotta thank 856 for dropping out the queue.
That was about to be it. That was about to be finished.
But she was going to get to me, and I was like, she keeps leaving me on red. I don't know what's going on.
That was about to be finished today and dropped out. That was going to be the last call. What's going on with you, fam? How you been?
Everything's smooth. This is Devon from Bruh.
I know who it is. You know we know that now. Come on.
Yeah, YouTube done put me in jail and everything. I'm now DP in the chat. They closed down Devon from Brooklyn. Everything's all bad.
Dang, you DP. You ain't even just spell it differently.
Yeah,
you made up a whole new name.
Right, listen, allow me to reintroduce myself.
Oh, got you.
But I just wanted to tell a quick story, and real fast. Over the weekend, it was my birthday, and I got a chance to spend some time with the family, and spending some time with my younger sister. And I had, briefly told her about ADOS before, and dropped the seed, let it percolate, let it germinate a little bit, and I wasn't getting any bites. And so over this weekend, she, obviously with everything's going on with the election, and she reached out. She was there. And she told me about how one of our classmates from elementary school
hit her up in the inbox when she was, kind of praising Kamala and giving her some of her flowers, and he was like, no, you got to understand what she did. And, he was dropping some science and some knowledge on her about in the history of Kamala's past. And so she asked me, was I aware of any of that? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, this is all the stuff that I sent you way before he reached out to you in the DM. So she looked back on other stuff, on the stuff that I sent her, and she's like, oh, wow. She's like, so this is ADOS. And she was like, was he ADOS? I was like, I don't know. I didn't get a chance to speak to him yet. I was like, but this is the advocacy. And she was like, wow. She's like, well, I never really heard of you guys before. And she's like, I know you talked to me about it. She's like, but I really ignored it. And she was like, but I hadn't heard about this before. And I was like, well, yes, you have. I was like, remember when you called me and said that during the Democratic debate, somebody said reparations? I was like, that was us. I was like, you didn't know that was the work that was being done, but that was ADOS. That was the movement. That's why reparations was on the debate stage. And so she started talking about, Kamala and, my nieces, and she had two little girls. Long story short, she was saying she hoped she could point to Kamala to, have aspirations for my nieces and let them know that they could do it too. And I was telling her, I was like, that hope is good, but false hope can be catastrophic. And I was like, when you really look at who Kamala is, I was like, don't let the black girl magic fool you. I was like, she's not us. She's not ADOS. And I was like, so when you point out, your daughters, my nieces, to Kamala to say that they can do it too, they really can't, because she's not you, and she's not them. And so, I sent her the interview later on that night that Tone did with Sheree, and she was dumbfounded. And so, needless to say, ADOS NYC, we shoring up our ranks and getting everything together. But it's gonna be a family affair for me, and so I'm excited about that, and the power of just standing on your square and staying in there. And I was talking to one of my ADOS sisters out in California, and we were just talking about the whole concept of black girl magic and everything that's going on, and how they're trying to play the gender war with us as a people. And she said something really profound that I want to give her credit for. And she said that white supremacy is giving ADOS men the jailhouse, giving ADOS women the schoolhouse, but we all have the wealth numbers, which is 0. And so with all the symbolism that they're giving our ADOS sisters, and all the punitive punishment that they're giving us, it's not changing the wealth numbers for either one of us.
Nope.
And so there's power in sticking together and sticking up for black families. And on that note, I just want to salute all the ADOS men that don't get caught up in the gender wars and bring all the negative stereotypes about black women to the movement. And I want to give all the ADOS women their flowers right now and thank them for standing strong and boldly in this time of tempting symbolism and standing up for ADOS men, our ADOS children, our ADOS families.
Oh, thank you, Divine. And then stop getting kicked off YouTube now. I appreciate you, family. You did good, because that's a great end right there. I appreciate you, family. That's a great one right there. That's how you do it. That's the end of the show right there, fam. But that's a great way to end. And it's just like, let me just say this too. We all know Kamala, Cass, all that's what she did, her past, and that's not you. But let me just say this too. Even if Kamala was ADOS, with her whole history, it don't even matter. Like, you can't have a whole history of doing stuff, and when you do it, it's bad for ADOS. You don't have any history of trying to help us or any kind of career path that led you, no advocacy. And then it would be different to me even if, let's say, Kamala had been a progressive prosecutor, even being who she is. And she had actually decided that she wanted to have a pathway to treatment, like a lot. But that's not who Kamala was. Kamala was the person who took out the progressive prosecutor. So it's not just about who she is in terms of her background, not being able. Even if she was ADOS, I would oppose her. Any ADOS person that gets on TV and says, "I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people," no, I'm opposing you too. Don't matter. Agenda driven. So we are, right, fam. So Please don't forget to hit that like button for me. If you want to donate, go to donatebrown.com, patreon.com/ycarnell, $ Breaking Brown on Cash App. But hitting that like right now, if you're in here, it's absolutely free. If you just hit that little like right there. If you wanna subscribe, please hit that subscribe button for me. Please share the show. Please hit that bell. That bell is important. Please hit that bell so that you get notifications. Right? Please do that for me. Hit the bell so that you get notifications. Right? Also, I try to tweet it and all that good stuff too. Please do not forget that the half has never been told. December the 10th, we'll probably do that 2 days in a row, but December the 10th is when we start doing that. So reading this for the book club. The book club is on December the 10th. You're going to join us for the half has never been told. I am having, a great time with the book. So fam, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Wear your mask. Apparently COVID is merging and emerging. I wear 2 masks now when I go outside. I wear an N95 and a surgical mask on top of that because they told me the N95 can give people COVID if I have COVID. I don't think I am asymptomatic, but you don't know. So please wear your mask. Please wear your mask. Keep a social distance away from people. You don't need to be walking up on me talking. Keep 6 feet. Do that. Walk over there. That's how we do it. And, take care of yourself, family, because, one of the things that we're going to have as we go forward, everybody got to take care of ourselves. We got to do the best we can to keep ourselves healthy amid all the kind of stress that we're going to be dealing with and all this stuff. So please make sure that you do that, family. That is absolutely necessary to have some type of self-care in this era of plagues and bad government and all that kind of stuff. So until next time, fam, be easy breezy, finish your libation, and we will talk again soon.